Hi, this is Peter Wesley Bastone for another episode of The Couch. Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Bill Shaka from Shaka and the Soulshakes.
How you doing, Peter? Did you say the Grouch?
No. I could have. Bill is someone who I've met through friends and friends and friends. He's a mainstay of the soul scene in Connecticut, and he has a rich history of performing. So we're going to talk a little bit about what Bill's been doing and what he's going to be doing.
That's right.
So what's new?
Well, what's new is I'm up here with my new release, Heard a Mighty Rumbling, which I'm going to give to you, Peter.
Oh, that's awesome.
Most self-penned tunes.
Okay.
And we're promoting that as it came out on Mike Arafa's Studio Coffee House.
Awesome.
So you're familiar with Mike.
Yes, I am.
And so this is my presentation to you,
Let's
Peter.
definitely get on the CD player today. Right after you leave, when I go back to work, I'll be blasting this. Cool.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this music thing?
Oh, let's see now. Going back to the 70s, late 70s, I guess. Started in the late 70s. And it's evolved, of course, because, came out of Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans. And that meant kind of starting all over in a different region,
Right.
you know. And it's gotten from when I put this project together, I guess around 2010. It's taken a few years, and we're off the ground and running. And it's some work involved, like anything else. If you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you gotta labor. You know.
Well, yeah, some of us do. What's the goal? What's the finishing point?
The goal is to not put myself in a box. You know.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you.
You know, and I'll tell you, you know, the guitar player in the Soulshakes, Tony C, and I, on a whim, I'm not about competition in music, first and foremost, let me just say that, but on a whim a few years ago, we decided the Connecticut Blues Society asked us if we wanted to participate in their solo duo challenge. They have a band one and they have a solo one. And we said, yeah, sure, maybe we'll get a couple of gigs out of it. You know, we didn't rehearse anything. We had played minimal, maybe a handful, if that, of duo gigs together. And don't you know, because we didn't rehearse anything, we won the whole darn thing. They sent us down to Memphis, and amongst 87 international acts to compete in the blues competition, the international blues competition in Memphis, where we made it into the semifinals, and through that it has expanded our horizons to a degree. But as I said, I don't want to be caught in any box. But you know, as much as I can tell you the names, dates, histories of most any roots music, you know, to me it could be old school, what they call, once again, putting things into a box, punk music, which inspires me just as much as soul, old school soul, or blues, or rockabilly, rock and roll, you know, any of it. So with songwriting and with this project, Heard a Mighty Rumbling, that we did at Mike's place, my emphasis was on the songwriting part of it.
Good.
It wasn't on like, oh boy, man, that guitar player, he can sure play some hot licks, you know, or that Bill boy, he can wail on that harmonica. Well, it's not about that.
It's not a jam album.
It's not a jam album, and it's about the songs, and these are the things that I always try to continually work on in live performance, is to have it continue to be about the songs even live.
Nice.
And the energy, honesty, energy, and entertainment.
Cool. Now, what venues are you playing in the state of Connecticut, or outside of Connecticut for that?
Outside, well, we just played at a nice festival up in Worcester, Massachusetts. Paulie's New Orleans Jazz and Blues Festival up in Worcester. He brings the cream of the crop of New Orleans musicians, some of which I've been affiliated with due to my lengthy time spent in New Orleans. So that was just recently. Had a great time up there at Paulie's. And this weekend, I think we have the Voodoo Grill down in Mystic coming up. We have another band gig down, that's the duo, another band gig down in Deep River at a marina on Saturday. And on Sunday, it's down to Mama's Boy Southern Table and Refuge in South Norwalk. Sono as they call it, I guess.
So who books your shows?
I book.
You book the shows.
My wife helps too. If we can avoid a fisticuffs. You know, I mean, like we had a thing recently where, because of lack of communication, I had scheduled to do something with Mike. Mike put on a thing with Clay Colo Coffee down the coffee shop down in Middletown recently. Right. I think a couple other bands that I'm sure you're aware of were on the same bill. The Sawtells and
I interviewed the Sawtells here.
The Two Virgins were on it as well.
Cool.
And I said, yeah, Mike, I'm available, but you know, I'd been. And Bonnie, in the meantime, had booked Mama's Boy Southern Table and Refuge down in Norwalk on the same day, the same time, roughly the same time. So we had to get on the blower and tell, you know, to inform Mike that we couldn't do his show. And it wasn't a financial thing. What's an extra 100, 200, whatever the figure may be? It's not about the money. You know? I mean, it was about that was booked first. So.
Oh, sometimes you have to make decisions that are hard. And if you make the wrong decision, because you're on the spot, like something like that, you got to make the decision now. You got to, like, should we take the gig? How do we work around it? Can we get a later spot? Whatever. Yeah. And that's hard.
Well, being in Norwalk would have been difficult. It would have been difficult.
For travel-wise,
to even fit into the time slot. But you know, Mike Arafay's been a true friend through going back 25 years now. You know, and. So I know he's an understanding guy. So you know. Yeah. Wow. So yeah, it's a continual thing. We play anywhere and everywhere. You know.
How many guys in the band?
It's 4, sometimes 5. Sometimes we'll add a 5th member, keyboard. It fits well on a nice big festival stage.
Okay, well, we're going to take a little break. Tom, you want to turn that off? And we'll let you take your call, and I'm going to go get my cup of coffee, and then we'll go back.